This episode is brought to you by Tina's Vodka.
Now you see her.
You are magnificent!
Welcome to Her Table, the podcast that shines a spotlight on the badass women who are redefining the game. Join hosts Kate Foley and Megan Martinez as they unlock the secrets of success from the brightest female pioneers in the industry.
All right, well, I guess we're back, Meg. We're back. Different places, same vibe. Back for another amazing episode here at Her Table. Can you believe we've had 50 episodes?
No, we were literally just talking to our producer and directors, and we're like, how is it that we've had 50 episodes? We've had like so many guests. We've met so many people along the way that have been amazing, but it's like, that's crazy.
It's honestly, I was thinking about that this morning of just like how time flies. Like there's only so many days till Christmas, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, like
how many?
Like, I mean, not enough, obviously. Hello, October's next week. Like we're literally, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, when people are saying October's coming up, I'm like, how is it already almost October? Like, how is that possible?
I know. Well, you're in a new little setup. There's lots of blue behind you, and we're here to
talk
about
a lot of
you
blue
today, which I'm so excited about. Okay, where are you? Tell us, where are you? Because I don't know everybody knows the secret.
I am currently at the Seahawks facility. It's so funny. There's so much blue to the left. You can't see, but I've got Lake Washington, just so beautiful. It's like just on the water. It's like the nicest facility I've ever been to. It's great. It's beautiful.
Amazing. Okay. And why are you there? Tell us. Take us on your journey.
Let me fill you guys in.
You are listed as an NFL, producer for the NFL Network. Are we still doing that, or we need to keep everybody up to snuff on what's going on?
Yeah, you know what? NFL was great, but I decided to go on and move to Seattle and work with a team, get that experience. And it's been so fun. It's been great. I just love the people that I work with, and they're just, honestly, I work with a lot of great women that are just super positive and encouraging, and like they're amazing. And so I have this new role, and basically kind of like a producer role, but for digital and social with the Seahawks. And so honestly, it's been a grind during the season, but the Seahawks are 3-0. It's like actually crazy. So it has been so fun. We're first in our division.
That's the Megan effect. I'm going to let you take full credit for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. Because they're saying that since I've been on this team, they are undefeated. And we have a new coach, and his name's Mike McDonald. And I'm like, well, they're like, there's one MM that's like maybe, doing it for us. But the other MM, me, is actually like 3-0, 100% win rate. So I'm like, yep, that's me. So I'll take credit where credit's due. But
okay, so take me on this journey, because I know you were in LA. So I want you, what is your day-to-day role now? Like, what does that consist of, and what's your title?
Yeah, so I'm a social content producer for them. I'm trying to think. I'm like, I don't even know what the title is. We'll etch that out. Social content producer for the Seahawks. And man, a day in the life is like so different. So just every single day, I guess like during the week, on like a Wednesday or Thursday, all the players come in and practice. And so I'm usually working with the players during the day, trying to figure out like what content we can use, if we're working with like partners, whatever it is, for social media. And then I guess sometimes during practice, I'm out there like, watching the guys, seeing how they're doing. And then post-practice, we're working with them as well. That's like during the week. But then game days, I work on Sundays for the most part. And most of the time, it depends, because obviously, the hectic schedule of the NFL. I travel with the team. So for instance, this weekend, I'm leaving for Detroit on Saturday. So this is crazy too. So it was my first time ever experiencing flying charter with a team when we went to New England last weekend. And we get there a couple hours early, and we go through TSA here, like at the facility. It's like the smoothest thing ever. You just go in, they just like little scan you really quick. They check you. Okay, you're fine. You're good to, well, I mean, they're secure, but they check your stuff. And it's just like such a quick process compared to like staying and like waiting in line at an airport. And so anyway, so then we'll just go fly and, get everything ready at the hotel. And then, come game day, it's usually like working with the guys, getting like their walk-ins, their outfits. And then, starting the day, getting the game, working with the team. And then afterwards, you're on a plane back to Seattle. So it's crazy. It's a lot, but it's awesome.
Okay, so tell me more about what's the process like. Okay, you're on a charter flight. Do you have assigned seats? Do you get to pick seats? Is it like separated, like players, support staff, coaching staff? Like, how does that really work? Because it's so many more people than what I'm used to. And like the NBA travels with like a 60-man transport group, which seems enormous when you only have 15, 17 people on a roster. But you guys have so many more guys on a roster. So like, is it one plane, two planes? And how do they separate out? Like I said, are you in there fighting for a seat, or do you know you're going to like 4B and you can just stroll on when you want?
That's funny. That's actually a really good question. So there's a double-decker plane this year, which is, I've never been on a private double-decker plane before because there's so many players. So there's like 53-man roster, and then you also have to bring, some practice squad players and then staff as well. And so I'm definitely in the back of the plane. Like the players are all in front. I have an assigned seat. So like, I'll walk up and they have a name. It's so cute. Like I have a name and like a Seahawks logo, and that's my seat.
Is it the same every flight?
Yeah. Oh, that's
so easy.
far.
So you know where you're going. Yeah. So you don't have like anxiety of like trying to like find your name and do I have a new seatmate? Because that can be like terrible.
I know.
You sit with the person and work with the person. And you're like, please don't put me next to Bob. Like
Bob. I know. It is. And it's so funny because you go on the plane and they already have like, oh, what food do you want? Like just even like, because just think about it. You're with like these big football players, so they're like constantly eating. So it's like you get on the plane, they have food ready to go, but it's like drinks, whatever, like no alcohol, just like coconut water, just really fancy, nice stuff. And then during the plane, they have food as well, drinks. They're great service, and then afterwards, more food when you get to the hotel. It's just like food. I'm like, okay, I need to like step away from all this. But it's cool. It's just such a unique experience. And I'm like having so much fun so far. So.
Okay. So you made the move. So I want you, and I know you and I've talked about this, but like, how is it going? Like, how is the move? Like, that's a big change for somebody to make. It's not easy to make. I know we talked about it at length of like, it is not only career changing, it is life changing. When you kind of go somewhere. So did you move officially out of LA? And, obviously you're in Seattle, which is a different climate too. So you got a lot of changes in the last couple of weeks, Megan. Come on.
Oh my God. I know. I am completely 100% moved out of LA, but I've been visiting. I've been going back quite a bit, but moved out of LA, and I'm really close to my family in Boise, which has been really nice. I've been flying back and forth to see like my dad and my family, which has been really fun. But yeah, the process, it was just like, it was a little bit different, unique situation for me, but I did move all my stuff out and I'm out here now. It's raining a lot. I kind of forgot, like, cause I used to live here when I was super young. And so now that I'm back here, I'm just like coming from LA where it's like 75 and sunny every day. And then I'm like here, I'm like, wait, it's like raining like all the time here. When is it going to stop? So that's been a little different. So yeah.
Can you please go to Forks for me from Twilight? Please? Yes. Like you're there. Let me live vicariously through you. Please go.
You're so funny.
So we can
You're
go,
so
because that
funny.
would be all I would do. Would be that. I would be like, okay, where can I go see this? Because I'm right there. What's been like the biggest change for you? I mean, I'm sure there's been many, but like what's been the best change and what's been the hardest change?
I think honestly, going from broadcast, like studio, TV, making that transition from TV to digital has been a big difference because, you think about, there's like for at least for studio shows, you kind of have a template that you follow like every single week or day, whatever it is. Cause I've worked both for daily shows and a weekly show, and you have like the same setup and you kind of know what to expect every single week or every single day. And it's kind of like a repetitive process, but it's good. It's structured and it's like, all right, this is what we're doing today. And you kind of plan it out. But on the flip side with digital, I just feel like you are like constantly having to be creative. You're constantly have to putting out like new content, good content. You're constantly need to put out a lot of content as well, just because it's like the digital first aspect. And for me, it's just been a transition. it's been a lot, but also I'm really enjoying it because every single day is a new day. Like I'm working on new projects every single day. Like there's a class in Florida and they've been tagging us on TikTok every single day. They like doing this NFL draft class. So it's been really cool. I worked with marketing and we got a signed DK Metcalf jersey we're going to send to one of the students who drafted the Seahawks, and then, send like little things for the class. But like just stuff like that where you're like, wait, you're working with the class, but it's like, yeah, like we're doing this a whole entire like project, like working with like just helping these kids out, and then also just like putting out good content that is like wholesome and like fun. But it's like every single day is just new. And on top of that too, I would say that like when you're working for like a studio show, it's like, you're not really cheering for a team and it's just like a set like template. But I do think that when you're with a team, you like kind of have like, you're excited for them to like do well. And when they're playing well and they're like 3-0 and they're winning the division, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like really fun, like great environment. And I'm really lucky to be a part of it. And also really happy that we're doing so well. Not trying to jinx it, but we're doing good so far.
No, it's really cool to hear about because I think, the production side of TV is highly produced. It is everything's thought of, what you're going to say, where you're going to look, down to what you're going to wear. I mean, we go through it on the show all the time too. I like, what is the structure of this? And I think the new age that is, digital marketing, digital media really obviously in COVID, like took off and became this whole big thing in itself. But to see teams and brands and corporations really lean into it because it is the way that they're not even Gen Zs. I don't even know. What are we on? Why? What are we on?
It's like, I don't know if it's Gen X.
Millennials,
like
Gen Z,
Alpha.
Gen something. All of the people under the age of 25. Let's say that. Yes. Okay. I don't even know what they're called anymore. But like, that is how they communicate. That is how they receive information. That is how they form right or wrong. That's how they form opinions. And so I think it's so cool for you to get to see the other side of, instead of the studio where you're impacting for 60 minutes, right? In digital, you're impacting forever because someone could just be scrolling and come across something that you posted 3 weeks ago. So the content has to be really good. It has to be engaging, but it's not a moment in time, which I do think like production TV is just that like moment in time. So it's like a big shift. And it's cool to hear you're doing that with the students. I mean, I think that's engagement is always like the big thing. And who would have thought that, right? Like, but props to them because they got your attention. Like that's what I say all the time is you have to do it and then people will pay attention and do that. So that's so fascinating that you're engaging with that. But it's also cool because now you can share with them what you're doing, right? And they might want to go down your path. What's been like outside of sports, you're closer to your family. You were with them this off season. You did a whole program with them. Do you find a level of comfort with them kind of like, okay, I know where everything is? Or was it like rebooting because it's a totally different experience?
Yeah. So for instance, this off season, I signed a contract with them just to work with them this off season, just to like, feel it out and like help them with like their social media. And so for me, I was like, all right, like, let me test this out. And if I like it, cool. Maybe they'll like, want me to come on board. And if I don't, then great. I'll say no, and when I came out here, it was just like, it was different. It was like definitely a new change. I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like, while the NFL season's like for TV network is on pause, like this is really fun, like doing stuff during training camp and everything. And it was a good experience. And then, the people, I mean, that's just like a huge part of like where you work is like, you have to like the people that you work with. And they were awesome, super supportive. They've been nice, like since day one. I'm like, you know what? I like to work with people like that. And so it definitely influenced my decision. And then being close to my family has been so nice. Like every like day off, like I usually get like one day off during the season. I'll like do a quick flight and I'll fly to Boise and I'll like see my family, fly back. And it's just like being able to do that. There's so many flights from, Seattle to Boise, and having that availability, I guess, being over here on the West, like closer to them has been really, really nice. Especially like right now with like, just being with my family has been great. So
how have you navigated like such a rigorous structure at NFL Network, right? To now you probably are more in charge of your time and where you apply it and the intentionality behind it. How have you adjusted to that? And what kind of learning lessons have you taken these last couple of months as you've made this transition?
Yeah, I think, it's tough because I think both with NFL Network and with the Seahawks. I put in like a lot of time and effort. So I always need to like work on like my time management because I feel like I'm constantly trying to like think of like new ideas, like new content. And so that's been a little bit like, I feel like I still need to like work on that because I'm like always wanting to put out the best stuff. And so when I was at NFL, I would go there early, stay late. And then same here with like the Seahawks. It's like, I'm doing the same thing. I'm at home, but I'm still like on like TikTok and social media, like scrolling, just like thinking of like new ideas or like how to do something different than like another team and like make it better. But yeah, just still trying to find the balance. Like this morning, I, still got my workout in. I went to Barry's and, got ready and then came to the facility. I'm like, I got this podcast. Can't wait to talk to Kate and catch up. And then it's like, all right, now I got to work today. And then I'm out to Detroit on Saturday. So it's like, just constantly like moving and just, I don't know, managing my time as well as I can. If that's like getting up early and working out and then, still trying to make time for friends when I can and family. So, but yeah, still a process.
Well, it's interesting because I heard on another show the other day, they were talking about how they, and I do it all the time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know. We constantly ask women, like, how do you find balance or what is your work-life balance? But you never hear a man being interviewed, being asked about his work-life balance. And I was sitting there and I was like, that's such like if you took a just blind, day, you know what I mean? You just blindly did it. I would think that would be so significantly true. And I'm like, why do we think that is? And you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of women that you work with within the organization. As a young woman in a male-dominated industry, how have you kind of gone into it? And you're now in a super professional leadership capacity. How have you navigated that as a woman within men's sports?
Yeah, I think it's always finding that balance between like, you're working with women, but you're also working with a lot of men and just staying professional. And that's been like my biggest thing. And it was a huge compliment to me because when they were hiring me on, they were like impressed by like how professional I was just because you are working with a ton of professional athletes. And so you just kind of have to have that fine line of like, working with them, but just still being like professional. That's, how it is. And I think it's been great because there are so many women where it's like we're all on the same page and we're all working together in a male dominated industry. And so, just having like just the support from those women has been so great. And even traveling, like you wouldn't even think about it, but like I couldn't even imagine just traveling myself with a bunch of the players and like not having women with me just because you're like traveling. And it's like, if I didn't have like my manager who I work with, like if I didn't have her while I'm traveling, I'd be like sitting there, like not sure what to do. Like, and so even people like in video that work, there's, a couple women in that department as well. And it's just really cool. Like we all like will go out and like go, venture out and try new cities and everything. But even on the road, it's really nice just having my manager out there and she's a woman. And then on top of that, having other women in video and just being able to go out to dinner with them and feeling comfortable just, being in a new city and trying like new restaurants and new things. So
has this been like one of the biggest changes for you thus far in your career? I know like when I left South Carolina and moved to Texas when I was with Nike, it was like eye-opening experience because you're just like out of your comfort zone in a new place, in a new job, and you're trying to navigate a bunch of news while you want to cling on to like the comfort of what you know, right? How has that been for you? Because it's a different climate, different place. I know you know some people in Seattle, so it makes it a little easier. But how have you tried to push yourself out of your comfort zone to kind of embrace the new, city and culture of Seattle?
Yeah, I think, I grew up here like when I was super young, but my whole entire life I was moving around. So like for me, this isn't like a crazy big move. It's actually more, I feel like for me, it's probably like more at home because, I went to college in Washington State. I have a lot of friends out here. And so it's just like, for me, I have family, like I'll see my aunt and uncle, my cousins, they're all out here. My grandparents are a couple hours away in Portland, and really funny because my grandpa and my uncle actually came to the week 1 Seahawks game and I got them on the field and it was such a great experience for them. But it's like so nice just having them close by because I never really had that in LA. And So I think, it's definitely a change. I feel like I haven't really explored the city as much as I, should, but I feel like I know it pretty well because I'm just like, whatever, like, but I need to go out more and like check it out. But I'm like, I don't have time. I have to like work out. I have like so many things I want to like get done first,
Yeah,
but,
sure.
we'll see. Ask me in a couple months though, when it's the winter and it's like raining all the time, because it's been okay right now, but I'm a little nervous about that. I'm not
You're
gonna
gonna
lie.
get some like rain boots, some nice UGG boots. Like, you know what I mean? You're gonna be in the like leggings and boots phase of
I
whenever I
know.
have to go to teams in that area. I'm like, really, there's not that many options because it's just pouring rain and
Yeah.
it's cold and it's that like damp. It's just that like constant damp feeling where you're just like, I just want to feel warm and not feel just like soggy wet. What's been the most interesting thing that has happened to you since you've taken this job on?
The most interesting
And it
thing.
can be work or personal, but like what's like the most interesting that's happened?
So the most interesting thing that really has happened with my job is just the creativity that I'm allowed to have with the people I work with. And they are so
Okay.
open to me trying new things. They're so open to me just like wanting to like, okay, like I want to do an interview with the player. They're like, all right, cool, do it and put it together and we'll love to see it. And they kind of give me that, access, and they kind of trust me to like kind of do whatever and put it out there and see how it performs. And, they're performing pretty well. I had a fun video I did with the players, and it was asking who like two of our top players on the team, Gino and DK, what their first names are, because they don't go by like their first names. And it has like over 5 million views, and like that. It was like a really fun video for me to like cut and work with, and just seeing it like perform well is like really rewarding for me. Like, oh my gosh, I like worked really hard on this. Like, I'm really happy it's doing well. So just like the creativity they allow me to have. Like I can't think of the word, but like they're very open to me trying new things, and that's been really nice and really fun.
How have you navigated you went from like the professional side to now the team side, which is like the player interaction side. That's so significantly different, right? And you have the personalities and the mood swings and the good days and the bad days. And how have you kind of it's girl, I don't even think people understand. You're just like, okay, this is where we are today. Like we're just, tomorrow sounds better. Like, how have you navigated that? Because I feel like, you went through cuts with them, you went through training camp with them. You're now on this side where people, you've worked with them, you've engaged with them, and then their lockers are cleaned out and their shit's gone and they're not here tomorrow. Has that been a hard thing for you personally to kind of like separate of like, I liked him, he was so nice, he was fun, to like, you're his replacement. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how have it's a different experience on the player side because you have to almost be like neutral. Like, it's the weirdest. You can't, you want to feel one way, but you can't feel that way. And it's not really your call. You know what I mean? It's still, and there's no class. Like, you didn't take a class of, I'm sure there's some psychology class you should have taken for that. Like how to not feel, like how to just be sure. How has that been navigating with, not only the players, but the coaching staff and internally? Like there's so much pressure and you guys are 3-0. So that's fantastic. But did you kind of like amp yourself up, or did you have a moment where you went to interview somebody and you were like, okay, maybe today is not the right day? Have you had that like, oh God, experience yet?
Well, I'd say like from an interview perspective, no, they've been really great. And I also like kind of handpick who I want to like work with and like, I'll kind of like talk to them before and make sure it's like cool. But there have been experiences where it's like doing stuff for social content. And I like already it's been like some people like PR will be like, oh, like we want you to do this. They're like not doing that. Like, so, people have their own stuff that they're like, I'd say the players have their own, things that they have with their family or their friends, or they have their own lives that's like separate. So like if they don't want to be in the mood to like do some like TikToks or videos, then like that's fine. And so it's just kind of been like, learning like sometimes like some people just don't want to be doing stuff on social media. They don't want to be on all the time and kind of giving them that grace. And I totally understand. And then it has been nice from like a winning perspective, because I do think that if we were losing, it'd be a little bit different situation. So that's why I'm like trying to stay positive and kind of like really get as much content, like fun content in right now, because right now we are 3-0. And so the players and the coaches, everyone's in a good mood. They're more willing to like be doing stuff, but obviously haven't experienced them like losing. But I do look at other teams and how they're performing, and it definitely like hits their like social. And if they're doing fun things, like a lot of the, viewers or audience will be like, you need to start winning. Like, so I've been lucky enough right now to have that experience where we're doing well, and hopefully we'll continue to do well. And work with like players that are like happy and excited to be at work. So,
well, I think it's so funny because they're just people at the end of the day, but they do have a job to do. And I think,
right.
You have a job to do. Right. And I think
that's
the hard part. It's like, dude, I know you're not in a good mood. I am aware, but I still have a job to do. And if I don't do it, then I'm in trouble. And so I think it's also just the industry changing and people respecting the roles and jobs that people have. You don't have to like them, but they do have a job to do and you need to let them do it. Do you guys store content? Are you like strategizing and like banking long-term content? Or is it like really like inspirational, just kind of like super rapid fire, like, hey, we're going to do this today and kick it out? How does that work? Because I don't know. Because I know everybody does stuff differently, but for you, what do you enjoy doing the most? The really fun, like super, just turn it out, kick it out today, or the like thought process strategy of capture to build on something?
No, I definitely think I like when I have time to plan it out and like really work on, my best videos I feel like that I like work on are ones that I have like spent like a day or two, like really planning out, these are the players I want to talk to, this is the content I want to create, this is the video I want to make. We also have like sponsored videos that we have to create like every week. So you have to have like those ones that you're like pumping out where it's like, the same old stuff, which is still fun. And you have to like kind of have a fun spin on it. But when I can work, like really produce, cause that's like my background is producing. So when I can like really produce a good video, I notice such a difference, like just on the quality of the video and like, my work that I put into it. And so, I do understand from like, that's the whole thing with like digital. I do understand where you're like trying to put a lot of content out because, what's something that's actually really cool too, that I've noticed, we have like weekly meetings with the Seahawks and with our team, and we actually go over the numbers with like all the NFL teams and how much content they're pushing and how their numbers are looking or who's leading the league. And no surprise, it's always like, oh, the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, there's a video of Travis Kelce getting 10 million
but
views.
I mean, come on. That's just like pie in the sky easy. Like, stop it. I would be like, that's like not even a fair, just put them away in their own box, let them live. Cause they're unless somebody's, that's just unrealistic. Also not sustainable, which is interesting. Because I think, one of the things we experience on the player side is guys get burnt out as they start to go through season. And so trying to like manage who you make the ask to, when you make the ask, and like, okay, like, this is a really big game because it's their hometown or they used to play on this team. So we're not going to go to them this week, but next week, they're tapped for it. Do you have those conversations with the guys ahead of time or the coaching staff or your leadership? How do you just get to go and be like, cool, I'm going to go talk to him today? Or do you have to go up the ranks and say, hey, this is kind of who I want to talk to in this order?
Yeah. And that's such a good point. Cause I don't think people realize like how much goes into like working with the players. Cause it's like a whole process and, you work first, you have to like, plan out with PR the day before and even ask like, these are who we're asking for. And some days they're like, no, you can't have this player because he's already doing, availability with NFL Network or he's already doing something with Fox. So like, we don't want to burn him out. And for me, I kind of go through my list of like, I'll put up the roster and I'll be like, okay, I've worked with this player, but I haven't worked with this one yet. So let me go ahead and work with him and see if he's willing to like work. So it is a whole process. You have to get approval first from PR before you even talk to the players. But it is nice. And for me, it's like, I've really tried to, really work with every single player because you also want them to have a chance, like if they want to be on camera and like do some stuff and like show that they're with the Seahawks, like you want them to experience that too. So, But I know like, I know we're like supposed to wrap up too, but I just wanted to like check in because we're talking about me, which has been like fun, but I want to see how you're doing.
This is your episode. Stop it. This is your episode.
Oh my God. I'm like, well, the NBA season's already about to start. Like how crazy,
gosh. Next week, like some teams had media day yesterday.
I saw that. I literally saw that.
Started media day yesterday. It's been a while because teams are still making changes like now, like the amount of guys I've seen signed on a Tuesday and then waived on a Wednesday. Like It's been
Wow.
really kind of wild. I mean, Derrick Rose just retired. I
I saw that
mean,
this morning.
let's
I
be
saw that.
honest about that. And he turned down his
Mhm.
3.3 million he was owed. He just was like, no, I'm good. Like, true vet,
Wow.
but like, I'm like, bro, take your money. Like,
Yeah. That's crazy. I didn't know he turned that down, but I saw that. I got a notification. I'm like, oh, Derrick Rose. Oh,
yeah.
you
But
know.
you know what? I think it's going to be interesting the next like 3-4 years. Steph just did another extension. Like, you're going to start to see the guys that are franchise like names start to phase out. And that's what I think is going
Mhm.
to be so crazy, because some of
Mhm.
these guys are young, so much younger.
Mhm.
And it's the teams are getting younger. So there's not that like vet in place. So it's
Yeah.
interesting. I can't believe Woj, like
I
that
know. He retired
blew
too.
my mind. Like
Woj bomb.
he just, I mean, that is like the mic drop of mic drops. Like,
Yeah.
but you know
That's
what though? I think
crazy.
it's like a true testament to like how hard the sports industry is and how much you have to commit to it and be involved in it. And every role takes its toll,
Mhm.
because I mean, he was at ESPN for 7 years or something like that. I mean, he made a ton of money, but it was just like, I want my life back. I want to go back and spend time with my family and feel good about what I'm doing and make it, I mean, that is talk about a career change. Talk about a career change, Megan. Like, that is turn right, turn right, turn right. Like, but you know, for him, it's better for his own personal lifestyle. And so
Yeah.
for people who want to get into
Mhm.
sports, to see people of such power and money and time and command, to say, hey, like, I got to do what's right for me and my family. I think
Mhm.
it's so healthy to see, because you
Mhm.
don't see that a lot. And I think
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, how many people knew this was coming? Like, internal, like, did the rest of the analysts know? Like, did Malika know?
Yeah.
Like, did they know? Or was it just like, where's Woj today? And it's like desk
Yeah.
is cleared out, shit's
Yeah.
gone. And then you're like, what just
Mhm.
happened? But yeah,
Mhm.
it's definitely wild to see these
Yeah.
changes going on. But yeah, the NBA is gonna start. It's the WNBA. Our aces are killing it right now. Another Asia
Yes.
Wilson, 3-time MVP. Like, it's
Yeah.
so funny having Katie Morgan on and like seeing
Yeah.
what she predicted and what she
Yeah.
felt. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe we should go to her next time we need advice. We should be like, so Katie,
Yeah.
what do you think? But no, it's just been wild and wonderful. And I literally am like, I cannot believe season starts. Like, it's
I know.
just, and I feel like we were just in Vegas. That's what I feel like. I feel like we were
I
just in
know.
Vegas for summer league, and
Yeah.
it
Feels like
it is.
it.
Yeah, I know. So okay, so as you navigate this and you move on, now that you're flying around on your private planes, ordering your meals, like sitting in, I'm gonna show up one day and be like, I'm Megan's replacement. I'm here for seat 4B. Like, no. How have you been able to relax with friends? Have you been able to kind of just like go out and go get drinks and stuff? I know it's funny. I'm like, normally it's in the morning here now on the West Coast. So we would normally be
Yeah.
cheersing a drink as we send you off on your next
Yeah.
NFL thing. So Tina's
I
vodka,
know.
you owe me a martini next time I see you. Okay. I
Sounds
need
good.
one. I will have to get it together. But one of the things I always have learned, and I learned this too late in my career, is to make sure you're involving the people who love you, who support you, and what you're doing, so they can understand why you're not at stuff and why you have to miss stuff. Was it really cool to be able to kind of like bring your uncle and your grandfather to a game and let them see you kind of like shine in your light? I want to come. I'm going to come. I'm just going to show
You
up.
should. Oh my gosh, please. I have to let you know when we'll be in Arizona, because the Seahawks and Cardinals are in the same division. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll be in Arizona, I think November. So we'll definitely link up, come to a game.
Yeah.
So fun.
You owe me a Tina's
Um,
vodka. I'm bringing it to the hotel, and me and you are making a her
Yes.
table Tina's vodka mixer.
Yes.
Drinks.
Please. Maybe, yeah. Maybe the day before, because I have to work. But yes, we are definitely going to do that. But no, from my grandpa and my uncle, it was so fun, because my grandpa lived in Seattle. My uncle was from Seattle. My dad, like, we're all from this West Coast area, and so it was their first time going like on the field for a game, and it was so much fun. And my dad, like, I was telling him about it, and he was like so happy and so excited. He like would be texting me text me when he could, like, so like, did you get your grandpa like field passes? I'm like, yeah, Dad, I'm working on it, like, and he's like so happy that my grandpa was able to go to the game. I got him a nice like Seahawks jacket and he like loved it. So it was such a fun experience. And I'm like, I loved it. It's just so nice being so close to my family. So it's been great.
Oh, good. Well, I can't wait to follow along. I mean, the amount of time you're on TikTok probably supersedes how much I'm awake in the world, but that's why you're killing it over there for them. But we're at her table. We're so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for jumping in, taking this on, and just really creating the space for yourself. And you did that this off season. You created a space for yourself there with them. And, they wanted you back and said, we need you and don't go anywhere else. And that's got to make you feel really good and give you that confidence to go out there that you know what you're doing. But I'm just so happy to see you happy and also in just like this new setting and thriving and just enjoying and changing. And I love that you love creative stuff because I love creative stuff too. So it's just so fun to see you really just embrace it, make the change. It's a big one, but one that, is going to continue, and you're going to be in a place where there's people like on the show today saying, hey, like she made a change and now she's in a totally different role, but she's taking what she knows from her first role into this role. Yeah. She's now shaping. You are shaping what everyone in this world is seeing and their experience online with the Seahawks because you are in charge of that. So I hope you know how powerful that is and how amazing that is. Yeah. I'm just so proud of you. It's just so exciting for you. We will be seeing you soon, but not soon enough as you kind of are in the middle of now your schedule and you're in Seattle. So maybe we'll just, maybe the table's just going to pop on up there and we'll just come surprise and delight you really quickly. And they'll be like, there's a group of people in the lobby for Megan. And she's going to be like, oh. We're like, yeah, we're here. It's us, guys.
Fans, no.
We're fangirls. We'll get those shirts with like, you put the pictures on it. Just show up.
No.
Like, I would.
Because I can see you doing that. I can see you doing that.
I totally would. I'm not here for the Seahawks. I don't care. I'm here for Megan. Like, let's just make this clear right here, right now. We go where you go. So whatever team you're on, we're a fan of. But really, we're a fan of Team Megan. But
thank you.
I cannot believe we're wrapping up season 1. This has been so fun. We've had so many great memories, so many great guests, so many fun times. And I just so grateful you were on this journey with me and we made this and so many people's lives were impacted. So thank you for doing that. Keep kicking ass in the NFL. Keep changing it. Keep going. Keep making amazing content and keep changing lives because you are doing that. I know you don't realize it, but so many young people are watching this and watching you thrive. And that's how you're going to continue to make change. So keep doing it. And all that blue, that's a lot of blue, but I love it.
That's a lot of blue.
Aw. I know. I can't wait to see what's next. So, okay. Well, we're going to close out season 1, you guys. It has been such a blessing. Thank you for joining us each and every week. It's been so fun. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Tina's Vodka, Good American, Dry Bar. You guys are amazing. We love, love, love each and every one of our guests and sharing their stories. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us here on Her Table. That's it for me on Her Table. Megan, you got to sign off. This is it. This is your show. So you sign it off, girlfriend. Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh my God, that was cool. That was so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, you guys, we'll see you next season. Make sure you tune back in, see what's up. We have a lot of changes, but we have a lot more amazing women to celebrate here at Her Table. But that's it for us on season 1. Megan, I'm coming for you with the t-shirts, so be on the lookout in the lobby.